Back here in Logan, good-looking student section on hand. You notice they're all wearing these surgical gloves. Our theory is, or you have heard, Gary, it makes the clapping louder?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. They're so loud anyway.
I know. I was going to say, did they even need that?
Yeah.
Look at that. Every one of them, or most of them anyway. Great student section here, though.
Yeah, they're one of the funnest crowds to play in front of, without a doubt.
Well, and the Aggies have won, as I said, 13 in a row. The record is held by the 2009 Aggie team that won 19 in a row. And, of course, the big man on that team, Gary Wilkinson, my broadcast partner, and I'm sure you remember that well. Do you remember what game ended the streak?
Yeah, we lost it at Boise State.
Well, there you go. Isaac Johnson picking up where he left off in that win over Colorado State. A big three-pointer for the American Fork sophomore.
The one thing I love about Isaac Johnson is I don't think he has a conscience. He's willing to pull from wherever, whenever. And he had that momentum-shifting three-pointer against Colorado State that I thought was changed the game for the Aggies.
Yeah, and they really took off right after he hit that foul called in the post as Brendan Wetzel goes to the basket. I agree with you. That three just changed everything, and the Aggies took off from there and ended up beating Colorado State. There are now 3 teams ranked in the top 25 in the Mountain West. Colorado State at 17, San Diego State 19, and the Aggies at 20. That has not happened. 3 teams ranked since 2012 in this league.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal conference. I mean, and that's why the Aggies coming off a big win against Colorado State. They can't take a night off. Wyoming is a tenacious team. They don't ever give up. They've been down before. They find a way to fight back, and they won against San Jose State. And
Darius Brown, you were talking, though, about that game against San Jose State for Wyoming. They can be dangerous. Got to be careful.
And Darius Brown started off the same way, just coming out aggressive offensively and putting the ball in the hoop.
I was talking to Andy Hill before the game. We were talking about the assignment Darius Brown had against Colorado State. And when you have to guard the opponent's best team, it's exhausting. And he's a very physical guard in that. So it's understanding that he didn't have one of his bigger nights.
Yeah, but I think he did a phenomenal job.
He really did. And here he goes. Brown's got the turnover, and Brown will finish.
Yeah, and I think the thing is he's always willing to step up and accept it. He's not concerned about his numbers, what he's doing. He's just willing to take the assignments that he's been given, and he does it so well.
Ten seconds. Inside. Oh, kick out three. Wide open corner, and Mason Walters got it.
And that's the thing that the Aggies will give up sometimes when they switch on the perimeter on those screens. Then they have to have help side defense on the post rolling. They leave the corners open a lot. But I think that's something they're willing to accept to play the aggressive defense that they play.
Aggies have hit their first 3 shots of this game. Here goes Johnson. He's kind of just stood there, threw that up.
Yeah, that was circa 1950.
Yeah, it kind of did. The set shot.
Right.
First miss of the game for the Aggies. Walters again. This time short, lands right in the hands of Great Osborne, and here they come. Brown again, and Brown off to a great start.
And that's what makes this team so dangerous. They're so well balanced. I mean, you can go to Great Osborne one night, you can go to Mason Falslove, you can go to Darius Brown. Martinez has huge nights. Those guys, it makes it really difficult to prep for a team like this.
Walters up and over Osborne on that one. Wyoming 8-7 coming into this game, 1-1 in league play. And as you mentioned, Gary, they had that wild win over San Jose State, 75-73.
Yeah, and they were down big in that game, and they find a way to fight back, and that's what makes them, in my mind, so dangerous, is because they just never give it. They did the same thing even in the loss against New Mexico. They were hanging in there, and they were fighting and scrappy.
New Mexico is, like Logan, a tough place to play on the road. It always has been.
Yeah, the Pit is a fun basketball venue.
Step back three, and Cott delivers.
You know, the one thing that I that I remember as a player, when you come off big wins, you always kind of have a little bit of letdown maybe the next game. You kind of have put all your heart and soul and doing everything you can to win the game ahead. And maybe they just need to, hopefully they prep that in practice and set themselves mentally.
Yeah. And Brown just misses the three. But, yeah, coming off that win over Colorado State, 77-72 on Saturday night. And this building was just electric. Big win for the Aggies. Another go. Walters again. And he's just had the one three-pointer so far. Ian Martinez. Johnson. And a foul.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. Walters spreads the floor. Osibor is not necessarily used to sitting out there on the perimeter, having to adjust that way. So that'll be an interesting matchup. It's Darius Brown starting the night off right with a couple steals.
Yep.
Getting into the basket, leading the Aggies in scoring as of now.
Checking into the game, Khalifa Sacco. Oh, how about the spin move? And Osibor finishes.
He's so patient on the block. That's what makes him so dangerous. He doesn't try to force anything, reads the defense, and then picks his moments, and he does that so well.
Boy, he read it perfectly there. Back into the post again, though, comes Mason Walters. So we've got a tie ball game after the Aggies got off to that quick start. Talking about the three nationally ranked teams, the top 5 teams in the league are a combined 67-8. That's a phenomenal combined record as Martinez launches the three and a big offensive board and the throwdown.
Yeah, he's a guy you can't relax on the boards. I mean, he will make you pay one way or another. He's such a load too. Even if you box him out, you still may not get the rebound.
Yeah, 6'8", 250-pound junior out of England. As Wenzel. Well, some of you may remember him. Probably, I mean, he played 2 games for the University of Utah before transferring. So it was quite a while ago, and he didn't play much, but he is a former Ute. Brown inside, Osibor draws the foul. One of the things we always like to track, Gary, I know you keep an eye on this, is the number of fouls drawn, and Great is among the best at that as he throws one down, and the Aggies and Cowboys in a battle here on KMYU TV locally and the Mountain West Network. Back here in Logan, tied at 14, the Aggies and Wyoming. The Aggies actually have a Wyoming transfer in Max Agmon-Polo, but he's unfortunately done for the season, had a foot injury they had to perform surgery on. So,
yeah, that hurts. I mean, he had so much athleticism and length. I think that, but the Aggies have adjusted.
Played at USC and Wyoming before transferring. And Osibor connects. Great, a 66% free throw shooter. Interesting in that game against Colorado State, Gary, you remember the free throw shooting discrepancy. The Aggies off the chart. And Colorado State, a team that's very good at free throws, had maybe half as many.
Yeah, I think they were 4 for 11, Colorado State, and I think that was the difference maker in that game.
Absolutely. Wyoming on a little bit of a tear, hit 4 of their last 5 shots. As a result, we have a 2-point game. We got a foul on the floor. It was Martinez, and he does not like the Chance Moore call. Then again, you never really love any calls, right? So right. You and I were talking. When you're an official, you never have a home game.
Yeah, that's tough. I've become a little bit more sympathetic to their job as not a player.
As you've matured. Yeah. Right. DG Nelson, guy that we've known for years locally, and Michael Reed, the other officials. Step back 3 on the way. Shot clock goes off and can't connect. And Osibor, he just shorted it. And the Cowboys have the ball.
Look, if he doesn't have a job as a basketball player after this, he could be a tight end. His hands are unbelievable.
Steal. Here they come. Aduje. Oh. And he's fouled, so free throws coming. But yeah, Osibor, you are right. He'd be a prototypical tight end. First of all, his hands are great. He's got speed.
Well, and I think the NFL's been going over to England quite frequently, so maybe he's had
He'd
a little bit more
it.
exposure.
Sure. Well, there's a belief that eventually there will be a team there.
That'd be a travel.
Every game.
Yeah.
Osibor in his 2 Mountain West Conference games so far, 52 points.
Yeah, those numbers are fantastic for anyone, but to do that in this conference, that's tough.
And Aduje connects. I think almost as impressive as his 20 points, 14 rebounds against Colorado State, Gary. He only had 1 turnover.
Yeah, and as much as he has touches on the ball,
yeah,
his decision-making, his patience,
Yep.
I mean, he has so many intangibles.
Oh, almost stolen by Brown. Has to quickly recover and gets there in time to at least harass shot. Offensive board, though. And now Cott hits.
Cott's come out aggressive in this game, willing to take some tough shots, and he's converted on a number of them.
Senior out of Amarillo, Texas. Played at Fort Lewis College before transferring to Wyoming.
Watch when Osibor has the ball, how many Cowboys have their feet in the paint. They just pack it in
just to
on
make
him.
sure. Yeah. And Aduje's shot won't go. And checking in, by the way, Carson Templin. He hasn't played a couple of games. He didn't play in the last game against Colorado State. Good to see Carson back on the floor.
Yeah, Carson will always see. He comes in, he plays
right
scrappy.
there.
Yeah. He'll give you great minutes. He's a young player. He's got a lot ahead of him.
Creates the turnover, and now Carson draws the foul, so free throws coming.
Yeah, it's great to see a player come in off the bench. He hasn't played. He doesn't have his head down. He comes in and he's this aggressive, goes up, draws the foul, gets a tip on the other end. That's something you'd love to see as a coach.
Aggies on about a 2.5-minute field goal drought. Trying to get more free throws here. And Templin claws in the first one. And Templin for another. And he's got it.
Aggies have been shooting phenomenally from the free throw line. I think they're 23 of 25 against CSU. And they seem to be converting just like that tonight.
His first free throws in Mountain West Conference play. And back up to that 4-point lead. Drive. Shorts it. And here come the Aggies. Oh, and Aduje trying to kick it out to Martinez.
This is a different look than we've seen from the Aggies, too, with Templin, Johnson, Aduje, Martinez, and Falslove. We generally don't see this lineup, so this will be something fun to watch.
Wenzel comes up and hits a three, and back to a 1-point game. Jeff Linder in his 4th season as the head coach of the Cowboys, as that three is missed. Aggies have gone a little bit cold.
And this is where Osibor is so helpful, because you go on little droughts like this, and he's the guy that can get you an easy basket, get you back in rhythm, and kind of get the momentum shifting in the other direction.
Yeah, when he goes to the bench, it's always curious to see how long he will actually be there. We'll take a break. 1-point lead for the Aggies here in Logan. We mentioned the Aggies going for 13 straight wins, which up until yesterday was tied for the 2nd longest active win streak in the nation until Houston lost. So they now are tied for the longest active win streak in the nation with Stanford. No other team this year has won 13 straight games.
Which is tremendous considering what the expectation was coming into the season.
13 new players, no points returning from last year. And here they sit. Baseline jumper, no go. And Osobor tips that to Aduje. And you're right, a credit to the coaching staff for assembling this group and coaching them up, of course, and then obviously to the players as well. Like Johnson working in the post, and Johnson, how about that?
He's got so much length, and he just kind of wills himself into a position to get a shot off.
And ball out of bounds, it'll be the Aggies. So big weekend. First of all, beating the 13th ranked team in the nation to get your 13th straight win, now going for 14, and then getting nationally ranked at number 20.
Well, I think the better you are, the more pressure there is to be good. You know, when they came into this season with no expectations, no pressure, and it's fun to play with no pressure. But as they start to win big games and go on these win streaks, there becomes more pressure and more expectation for them to win.
Turnover. Mason,
that was a great pass.
Ballsled lays it up. That was threaded the needle. You know, it's interesting, though. We kind of sensed early, and only their second game, when they played that game at Bradley, and it went to overtime. The Aggies lost it, but you could just see something right then. I mean, that's a long road trip. And then they go out and they win that tournament that they were in.
Yeah. And the confidence just builds and builds and builds. And then, I just remember when we were on our 19-game winning streak. I mean, now Sports Illustrated isn't in here, New York Times, all of these, national media outlets are trying to, get a piece of you, and you just feel the pressure of everyone's eyes on you. And it's a great feeling. As a college basketball player, you're like, yeah, this is what I play. This is one of the funnest parts about this. But there's an expectation that you continue to do those things. And, you can either adjust to that and keep growing, or, it can kind of overwhelm you.
And I think the coaching staff here, especially Danny Sprinkle, the first-year head coach, does a nice job of keeping them grounded and level. I don't know how Stu dealt with your 19-game win streak.
Yeah, he was. I don't think we ever talked about it. It wasn't even
right.
There was nothing we considered.
Yeah. There's Danny. Best start ever for a first-year Utah State basketball coach. So with every win, that best start just keeps growing. Yeah, and his Christmas tree stays up.
Right. Yeah, he might have that thing up into March.
Yeah, the way he's going. This is a tough league, though. And, you've got jumper outside, misses as Osobor got in the way. I mean, you got games coming up where you have to go to San Diego State or New Mexico.
Yeah,
it's a tough league.
Yeah, and I think that's you have to have expectations, but as you have confidence, you just go in and say, hey, we can win every game if we keep going.
And the ball's going to go over to Wyoming. I just thought, let's take a look right here.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it might have gone off Isaac Johnson's hands, but either way, that's the way it'll go. And the Cowboys hanging tough in this one. 24-19, Mountain West Conference on a Tuesday night. We've got a couple of Tuesday night broadcasts for you this season. I kind of like these Tuesday games for the Mountain West. Now, Wyoming has been in a little bit of a scoring drought. Will they end that? No. It's been 2.5 minutes since they've scored. And here come the Aggies. Darius Brown, what a move. And Martinez ball stolen away. Brown and Osobor, both players that came with Danny Sprinkle from Montana State when he accepted the job.
Walter's the guy. He hit a three, launched another one early, but he seems a little reticent.
Yeah, twice. Yes. Right there, he was open both times.
And that's what I was going to say.
I thought the same thing, yeah.
He might not want to be a guy that they leave open like that.
Deep three on the way. And Osobor's got it as Wenzel can't get that one to fall. Yeah, it's interesting because you're right. He hit that first three, and you don't normally see that kind of hesitation. We'll see where that goes. Ball tipped out of bounds, and Cam Manyao says, come on. Manyao getting a lot of minutes out of Kansas City, Missouri, just a freshman. 6'9", 228-pounder. You see him right here, just get the hand there.
When I was playing, I loved to see freshmen guarding me. I was I was always
Teach them a
excited to
lesson.
see that. Just welcome them a little bit.
That shot blocked out of bounds. Welcome to the show, Rook.
Yeah.
So the Aggies up 5, but good, hard-fought, typical Mountain West Conference battle. We'll be back. Kate Fox, Gary Wogetson, Aggie basketball taking on the Wyoming Cowboys here in Logan. Isaac Johnson, he hit that first 3 of the game, and the Aggies haven't hit a 3 since.
Yeah. I think that's kind of been their MO. They, against Colorado State, they started off horrible from 3, and then the second half they picked it up and made some. I think that's just an inconsistent part of their game right now.
Well, we'll see where that goes. A couple subs coming into the game. Javon Jackson, sophomore out of Houston, Texas, number 22. And again, Sacco back in once again. He had 4 points against Colorado State. Maybe the most impressive number that night. He had 3 offensive rebounds, and they were timely.
Yeah, and he made some big free throws down the stretch,
yeah, he
too.
did. Osibor turns and banks it in.
Yeah, that's a tough shot.
Well, you're right. There's a lot of yellow jerseys go right into the post as soon as he gets the ball.
I mean, no teams have found a way to stop him.
No.
I think the thing with him is he lulls you to sleep. He's not
Oh, they're going to call goaltending. The basket counts for caught. But you were saying about Osibor.
Yeah, he lulls you to sleep. Like, he's not a guy that will force it right from the game. He kind of picks his spots and picks his moments. Here, Cott just goes up for a big block and gets too much of the body, and probably should have let that one see if it would go in.
So they did not give him the basket. Oh, they're still talking about it. They did give him the basket. Okay. They gave him the basket on the goaltend, and now he gets a free throw. So a double whammy for the Aggie. And Cott's free throw is good. He's a great free throw shooter, 87%. Best free throw shooter on this team. How about the bright yellow shoes of Javon Jackson?
Those are a statement piece.
Yeah, they are. And you got Mason Falslev with those kind of an aqua color.
Yeah, aquamarine. I don't think Coach Morrow would let us get away with shoes like that.
You didn't have that?
No.
Osibor drives and hits again. And great Osibor having a terrific game already, his 10th point.
See, and that's the thing is, as a coach, when you prepare to play against him, you're going to undoubtedly notice that he draws so many fouls. So you tell your players, hey, I'd rather you not get into foul trouble. Like they put Cartier into foul trouble again with CSU.
Against Colorado
so
State,
they have no choice but to kind of let him go and hope that he misses.
Defense. And here come the Aggies. Well, he hasn't missed much tonight. He's 4 of 5 on his field goals, is Osibor, and already in double figures. And here he is again. And he draws another foul. Boy, to your point, it's like a puzzle that you're just trying to figure out. Oh, look at that move.
Yeah, and with he's just so good. I mean, as a post player, you're taught you read the defender's feet. So you'll get him. He'll locate middle, look at the defender's feet, and then he'll find his balance to move off of that. He's so talented and skilled there.
Oh dear, deep ball, and Great goes and gets that. And right to the rack. Sacco's got it. That was a pass indeed, and shot won't go. That's a little bit of a long hook shot there. Approaching 6 minutes to play in this Mountain West Conference battle. Aggies undefeated in league play. One thing you'll learn about the Mountain West, a lot of these teams, they all play really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, in that win at Air Force, the Air Force Academy makes you work.
And that's the thing, when you, as a fan, it's just fun basketball to watch, right? And
yeah.
you love the Aggies. They come out and support the Aggies, but you get teams like Wyoming who just play so hard. It makes you just excited to watch the game in general.
Brendan Wetzel, number 1 with the basketball, and he's had a good game, leads the team in scoring with 7, loses it here, and it's going to be Aggie basketball. And once again, the hands of Khalifa Sacco.
One thing if you watch Darius Brown off the ball, it's amazing to see how hard he's working defensively.
Yeah.
He doesn't take a break. Guys are cutting back door. He's reading that play. He's getting in their way. Defensively, he's really, really fun to watch.
Brown with 7 points. He's already got 4 assists as well, so well on the way to his average. 3-pointer on the way, and Jackson way off. Again, the Aggies kind of struggled from 3 since that opening shot from Isaac Johnson. Corner 3 went Soul, and offensive board or defensive rebound taken away as Walters thought he had an offensive board, and it's a flush. The lob to Sacco.
It's great to see your bigs running the floor like that. He's sprinting full bore down the floor. You have a guard that recognizes that and lets the big man finish the way he can.
Boy, and that ignites the crowd. The French flag comes out in the student section. Sacco, of course, the junior from France, as Wyoming comes right back, and Kobe Newton pops the 3. The Fullerton transfer, junior out of Portland, Oregon. So he's on the board, and it's still a 5-point game.
See, and I think as loud as it was last time and as good as this crowd is, I don't think we've really seen the full force of the spectrum, just because when the Aggies go on a run, it seems every team that plays them seems to find a way to kind of silence the crowd a little bit.
Sabor going one-on-one, now double teamed. Aduje as the shot clock goes off.
Well, and I think a lot of reasons why the Aggies struggle from the three-point line is because their shots aren't coming in the offense. They're not going inside and out. They're kind of last-second shots, or they're taking shots from long distance, or the ball's not moving, and so they're just kind of, for whatever reason.
Kind of like that shot.
Right. That's exactly what happens. They don't come in the flow of offense.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about that when I played here. Is Coach Moore would say, look at these percentages when the ball goes in and goes out or goes in the throw of your offense, how high the percentages are when you're shooting three-pointers.
Back here at the Spectrum in Logan, a snowy night. Mid-northern Utah. Utah State and Wyoming going at it. Next up for Wyoming, they have Fresno State. A 2 p.m. game. We have one of those too, a Fresno State 2 p.m. game coming up later in the season. But next up for the Aggies, this will be a tough road trip. This will be a tester, Gary, as they go to UNLV Saturday and then at New Mexico a week from tonight, next Tuesday.
Yeah.
But right now the task is to battle the Cowboys. Aduje shorts it in the post.
But he is a skilled post player. I mean, the Aggies go for it to him from time to time on the block, and I think he can convert down there consistently.
One of 2 players from England. Great backdoor cut, and Sam Griffin, the guy we talked about at the beginning of this game, he scores.
See, and that's where I say that's not Darius Brown's fault. You have to have your help side defense. He's got to pressure the guy and deny the basketball. So him getting beat backdoor there, you got to talk to your teammates and say, hey, I need some help here.
3-point game. Johnson not afraid to shoot that, skins the front of the rim. And how about Aduje sneaking in for the offensive rebound? Now he takes a shot, and he can't hit the 3. And the 3s have gone ice cold for Utah State. And now Wyoming with an opportunity to cut it to lead or tie it up. Cut it to 1 or tie it up. And cuts it to 1.
Yeah, he's picking the Aggies apart tonight offensively. He can shoot it from deep. So you have to respect the 3, draw out on him, and he can get into the lane and penetrate.
Falslev Oh, great pass to Johnson, and he puts it up and in.
Yeah, Wyoming giving a different look defensively in that looked like a 1-3-1. The Aggies, that's the way you beat a zone, is through ball movement, making the zone rotate, and eventually you get out of position and find open guys under the basket.
And it worked perfectly right there. Powell and his drive. You see the defense from Isaac Johnson, and here come the Aggies.
And that's
oh boy.
There's a rare turnover by Brown.
Very rare. A little bit wide for a Duge.
And I think that's when you have a great passing team like Utah State is. I mean, they have 7 assists on 11 made baskets. That's an impressive number. So the zones sometimes they can pick it apart because they share the basketball so well. That's why you don't see it too often against the Aggies.
Aggies are a better shooting team overall than Wyoming, hitting 50% of their shots. Wyoming at 45. So this has been a great battle from the get-go. How about that move from Walters? And he draws the foul.
I'm not quite sure. Seemed like Johnson was straight up here. He just he moved. He stepped over a little bit. He would just Johnson. One thing defensively, he leaves his feet a lot. He feels like I don't think he understands quite how big he is.
Right.
He just kind of stands there and lets people score over him. That's just something you got to be willing to accept. But he moves a little bit defensively, draws fouls that he probably shouldn't have. 7-footer,
nearly 230 pounds, just a sophomore, played at American Fork High School here in Utah. And Walters connects. Another good free throw shooter, 81%. You know, a lot of the teams that come in here, I think several of them have been, I'm not going to say substantially, but quite a bit better free throw shooting teams than the Aggies, and yet they always seem to figure out a way to negate that.
Yeah. We saw that for sure with Colorado State.
Colorado State was amazing. And it's not like they're defending free throws, and Mason Falslev draws the foul. But Colorado State, a much better free throw shooting team, and they just struggled.
Yeah, and you might want to give some credit to the crowd. They're not used to that.
Yeah, could be that. Sure.
But whatever it was, they did struggle from the line.
So Falslev going to the free throw line. His free throw percentage, Gary's just been creeping up. Remember, he was in the high 40s, and it's been getting better and better every game as he connects here. He's now up to 56%.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, as you grow and develop as a player, you just improve in different areas. You take a look at the end of season stats and say, hey, where can I improve? And you spend your summertime on your game working on those things.
Right. Falslev from nearby Skyview High School.
And one of the things is if you watch him, he kind of leans back on his free throws. You never want to be going away from the basket. You always want to stay straight up or maybe a little bit towards the basket. Something I'll talk to him about maybe.
Well, why don't I'm sure Danny Spreekle would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that little turnaround shot? Does not go for Wenzel. And here come the Aggies. Under a minute to play. And Falslev, he kicks it out. Aduje back to Falslev for three. Oh, that three-point drought.
And Osibor tips that back out. I love Osibor telling Brown to shoot it because he was in position to get the rebound.
Yeah.
I remember Paul Millsap used to do that at Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
He used to just tell his teammates to shoot it because no one could keep him off the boards.
Well, he was a ferocious rebounder. And not overly sized. I mean, he was, 6'7". I think they listed him at 6'8", but man, that kid could rebound.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal rebounder. So I think their best offense was just missing shots and let him do the work of getting the rebounds back there. And he did that for the Jazz too.
Again, the Aggies going for 14 straight wins, and they are currently tied with Stanford for the longest active win streak in the nation after Houston ended up losing last night. And again, 14-1, and we talked about this. Their only loss was at Bradley, second game of the season, and they lost that one in overtime. Yeah, they had the lead late in that game.
Yeah, they've shown a tremendous amount of character and grit this year just to pull this team together, and I think a lot of credit goes to Sprinkle and his coaching staff.
Yeah, and he'll tell you. Credit my guys, Handy Hill, Chris Haslam, Eric Brown, my assistants. Haslam, by the way, one of his assistants actually played at Wyoming.
Yeah, I remember talking to him and him telling me about that a little bit. And that's Darius Brown tonight offensively. I think he's kind of Wyoming's poison. I mean, he's been able to get in the lane, create for himself, get to the foul line, and 5 assists already in this game. He's been giving them fits.
Best free throw shooter on this team as well, and it's not even close. 86% free throw shooter. And connects on the first. Boy, what a game though. You would think, and the Aggies probably, obviously favored in this one. They're at home, 14-1. But you said it, Wyoming plays tough, and they play hard right to the bitter end, and that's bearing itself out in this first half.
Yeah, I think with New Mexico, they're not afraid to come into really tough places and just give it all they got.
Exactly. Osibord gets his customary go to the bench with 30 seconds to play in the half. He's not in any foul trouble or anything, but why even risk it?
Right.
So here we go. Caught with the ball, playing for the last shot of the half. And Cott drives. Blocked by Sacco. 3 seconds. Inside, another block. And they might call goaltending this time. And they do, and Danny Sprinkle is hot. He says, We're going to have another look. Here you go, Gary. What do you think?
Yeah, to me, I think
that was a block. Well, you don't strike me as somebody who was overly, rough on the officials.
I was more scared of Coach Morrill than I was of the officials. So that's probably what tempered me a little bit.
Sabor in the post, so tough. Curls in Oak, but he gets his own offensive rebound. And what are they calling here?
A foul.
Okay. I saw the one official pointing the other direction. But Sabor draw, here you go.
Yeah, this is the thing. He gets to the basket. He's got such a soft touch. I mean, when you watch the ball bounce like that, you know you got to play with the soft touch. But then they can't keep him off the boards.
Yeah. Powell gets his second. And another 3, and this time, almost got the bounce.
If I was Johnson, I'd keep shooting those because every one of them is looking good.
Drive and 2 Aggies met Wenzel in the post, nowhere to go. Sam Griffin, you got to watch out. This guy could go off at any time, but instead he travels.
And Johnson is helping out on defense. He just needs to stay on his feet and quit jumping, but he's being a factor in there. Griffin's driving in and becomes intimidated. We've had 2 travels on Wyoming these couple trips down the court due to the help side D.
Well, and it's harassed Griffin into 1-for-4 shooting night, Gary. He's only got 2 points.
Yeah, and they have Mason Falslev on him. And he's doing a great job defensively. That's probably why Darius Brown is having a little bit more of an offensive game this game, because he does not task with guarding the best player.
Well, and he connects right there. Osibor, good defense again in the base on Mason Walters. And Cott kick out. 3 on the way. That's long. Air ball lands right in the hands of Johnson. Here we go. What a pass to Osibor.
I think it's time for a Wyoming timeout. You don't want to let the crowd start getting to this. If they get another turnover and a big play, this crowd becomes something much, much different. And the Aggies are starting to roll now. Defensively, you're seeing they're making a statement. Right there. See again.
There we go again.
This is a big difference. I'm telling you.
Oh, what a pass.
This is where Wyoming's going to want to call a timeout.
Yeah. Well, I think you were right the first time. And they didn't, and now they do. And the Aggies have opened up a 13-point lead.
Yeah.
And number one has been a big key to that. Great Osobor, 16 points, 7 rebounds. Aggie basketball on the Mountain West Network and KMYU locally. Back here in Logan, a couple of numbers that jump out at you. 8 assists now for Darius Brown, Gary, and boy, great Osobor. 16 points on 7 of 9 shooting.
Yeah, I mean, he consistently, game after game, puts up numbers. I think coaches don't know how to adjust to him. He just has so many weapons in his repertoire that it just makes it so difficult. And look, Darius Brown, he's
playing the whole court,
my
isn't he?
goodness, he just is such a factor on defense. He drives this team defensively.
Three-pointer Griffin on the way. Boy, they needed that. That is a big one, cutting the deficit to 10.
I think that was a good timeout by Wyoming. Calm the crowd down a little bit, get his players grounded, and get a play that they can run and get a shot for their leading scorer.
Ian Martinez looking for his first points of the game, and he connects.
And that was a big time to score as well. It's just to keep the pressure on Wyoming.
Martinez has been doing other things. He's got 4 rebounds, but that's his first basket of the game. Turnover. Osobor, what will he do? False slip!
And now he's turning into a playmaker.
One of those big guys that loves to breathe the ball up the court if you let him. And a block, but a foul. You know, it's funny, I was talking to Danny Sprinkle about Osobor's versatility, and he's like, you know, he does things you want to tell him not to, but you can't.
Right.
Because he's so good at it, like this play right here. Aggies up by 15. Aggies have outscored the Cowboys, Gary, in this half 16-3 in the shooting percent. Cowboys only have 1 field goal, and they're just shooting 25% in the second half. That is rough.
Well, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to how the Aggies came out defensively. Their help side defense was more aggressive. Their on the ball defense was more aggressive, and it's just taken Wyoming a little bit more out of their offense.
Caden Powell at the free throw line, 72% free throw shooter. Has 14 blocks this season, but misses the first. And the Aggies behind the basket. The student section making it tough on him, and he misses both. They are a wild bunch up there.
Oh yeah, they're very distracting.
Yeah, among the best home court advantages, really, in the nation. Brown, 3, just skims out.
That's good ball movement by Wyoming. Those are good shots.
Wetzel can't connect, but you're right, he was wide open.
Wow.
And Osobor at the other end delivers again.
Darius Brown's ability to find players is just phenomenal, and he delivers the basketball on a dime. Osobor's running the floor, and he's rewarded from that. You really want to take your guards out to a nice dinner.
Yeah, no kidding.
One that you can afford in college.
Well, especially now, but they're making money, Gary.
Right. I know. I was going to say,
and you couldn't do that in
my
your
time.
day.
It was a hot and ready.
Yeah, that's right.
If that.
Here's a ramen for you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Brown, by the way, now a double-double. How about that? As Osobor, give him 2 more. And he and Brown are just filling it up. 11 points, 10 assists for Brown, double-double. Osobor with 18 points. He needs a couple rebounds, and he'll have a double-double and a collision. Now, is this going to go against Ian Martinez? And it looks like it will.
And I think for Martinez, he got a quick foul early in the game, picked up another foul. He's just had a hard time defensively. The refs are just kind of keying in on things that are going on off the ball. So he's doing things to keep himself in the game, but those are some tough calls that didn't go his way.
55-38 and a well-deserved rest coming for Osobor, who has 20 points now and 8 rebounds.
With 13 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly. Now, 9 of 11, he's got 2 misses, but I'm pretty sure he's got an offensive rebound on at least one of those. And, Johnson thinks he played good defense, but Cam Manyow's going to the free throw line after the foul.
See, if you watch here, Johnson, as he moves to the ball, he always leaves his feet, and that's what gets him off balance, and he hits him with the body. He's so long defensively, he just has to stay disciplined and stay down and make people score over him. And I think that he would be more of a factor that way, but he has a tendency to get off his feet.
Well, offensively, he's got 10 points, and he's hit 2 threes.
And I would say this half he's actually been great defensively. His help side defense, he's caused a couple turnovers, some travels because he was in position. And, you know, those are just little ticky-tack things that I kind of pick up on as I watch the game.
Well, I don't think the Aggies think it. I mean, as a player, it's probably not ticky-tack. They need to know those things. So put your coaching jersey on. Kick out 3. And Witzel will pass on that. 3 on the way. No, and the shooting woes continue for the Cowboys, and we got a foul here going the other way. Aggie basketball.
And that's the thing is, look, Wyoming they're crashing the boards. They're getting after it. They're still in. They're used to games like this. They can fight their way back. They're a confident team. So Utah State has to be mindful of that as they continue to push this lead, that Wyoming's not just going to give in.
Well, you pointed that out in that tough game they had against San Jose State, as Falslev dishes to Sacco, lays it up and in.
So you have, like, coming out from that timeout, they had 14 assists on 19 made shots. I mean, that is a phenomenal statistic.
Big number especially for college basketball.
And that's where Wyoming's sinking back in that zone. I mean, you're getting dunk after dunk, layup, because they're just being able to pick that apart through passing.
They now have 17 assists, so your point well taken. Johnson just picked up his 4th foul, so he's going to have to go to the bench. Well, now they're saying they may have changed that. So he's got 3. So that's a break. He immediately went to the bench thinking he had 4. Mason Walters has been adopted by this student section as the guy they're going to harass.
There's always one.
There's always one. 6'8", 220-pound graduate student from Jamestown,
I think
North Dakota.
The key to this crowd is just to just kind of go with what they say.
Yeah.
I remember when Reggie Theus was coaching at New Mexico State, they had a
Yes.
cardboard cutout of Reggie Theus, you know, and he went and took pictures with it before the game.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he was great.
Theus, of course, former UNLV player and had a decent NBA career as well.
Yeah, he was great. He recruited me to Mexico State.
Did he?
Yeah. But he ended up going to Minnesota.
Oh, that's right. Well, you made the right choice. Brown's 3 is up and in, and that was pure. And now he's feeling it.
That's a Montana State transfer type of night, with Brown and Osibor connecting and just playing just phenomenal basketball.
Now Aggie's just trying to get something going. After the rebound, Nanyao loses the ball. I mean, the Aggies have just taken control of this game in every aspect. The shooting percentage of Wyoming continues to just struggle in this second half, and everything coming up roses for the Aggies. Falslev, he wants a 3. Well, you bring up a good point about the crowd. It's normally a great crowd, but Aggies up 59-41, and they're not like unloading.
Yeah.
And this is where you got to worry about letting them back in a game.
Yeah.
And Wyoming's a good team that's not going to go away.
And I was just actually, you read my mind. I said, you know, I watched that last offensive set. It was really loose. It really didn't show very much discipline. And that's a great pass.
Oh, Mason Falslev. That'll wake him up.
Yeah, I was going to say, now you got a way to get the crowd into it.
I'll tell you what, Mason Falsett listed at 6'2", 203 freshman. He can get up. Ooh, Brown flirted with that three. Wisely pulls it out.
See, and Osabor's come up with a bunch of steals. The one thing is you recognize how tall he is, 6'8", but a lot of things you don't recognize is the length. I mean, it's so long.
He just went between the legs.
Yeah.
Offensive board.
Oh, wow.
What a pass. Oh. Aggies still have it. Aduje. Oh, and he's knocked to the floor. That was a great pass that Sacco was not able to complete.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Yeah, this is
the Falsett. Wham.
Yeah, he has the ability to get up and create plays, get this crowd energized and ready to go.
Here in Logan, Aggies looking good in this second half. Wyoming has really struggled. Aggies have hit 12 field goals, Gary, and Wyoming has only hit 3.
Yeah.
And this was a 2-point game at the half.
Well, and I think that's the thing is defensively, I mean, the Aggies have turned over Wyoming 13 times in this game, and that's translating into probably more opportunities for the Aggies to shoot up the field goals and obviously less opportunities or making it at least more difficult for the Cowboys to convert.
Yeah, and on the other side, Aggies only have 4 turnovers. So
yeah.
10 steals.
And Darius Brown, 11 assists with 1 turnover.
Well, 4th in the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio as Falsett goes to the ground, and it's a battle for the loose ball. But, yeah, he led the nation for much of the preseason or the non-league season. Brown did in assist-to-turnover ratio. But that's dropped a little bit. It's still among the leaders.
Yeah, that is Darius Brown's game. He's a very cerebral type basketball player.
Yep.
He does the little things that make your team good, and I think he's an extremely huge factor for the success of Aggie basketball this year.
Very level-headed too, almost an extension of his coach. Now I'm not going to say that Danny Sprinkle won't get on the officials when he needs to defend his guys, and certainly get on a player when he needs it. But always seems to be very even-keeled with what's going on at any rate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a 5th-year player, right? That shows that level of maturity.
Yeah, exactly. Falsett, he hit that last 3, doesn't hit this one. Yeah, Brown, a senior that transferred over from Montana State. Osabor's got another year. He's a junior.
And the thing is
by the way, at number 15, Oleg Koyanets, I don't think we haven't seen him yet in the game. Checking in. He plays about 12 minutes a game. He's out of Lithuania. Transferred from Nebraska, and now checking in for the Aggies from Carson Temple.
So I'm sorry, I think Wyoming's just probably looking for a different look here to try to see if they can slow
something
down
going,
Osabor or put some more height on the court.
Osabor all the way out beyond the three-point line defending Koyanets. And caught. And Falsett blocks his shot, but Cott draws the foul. Our next broadcast will be on January 20th, a week from Saturday, and it's going to be a 2 p.m. game against Fresno State. I noticed Fresno State visits Wyoming, and they also play at 2 p.m. I think Fresno State likes playing at 2 p.m. and then getting out of town.
Yeah, especially if they can make it back to California out of the snow.
Yeah, out of these communities.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to that game, an afternoon game for us, to see what kind of crowd we get.
Yeah, Fresno State's always a good draw for the Aggies. They're always a fun team to watch
and a good team.
Yes.
Not quite as good this year as they have been in years past.
But like you said, there's no team that you can really look past in this league. They're all so talented.
Oh, Templin. He's got it. Kick out. Aduje. Oh, what a tip in by Mason Falsett.
You'll see that game after game from Mason Falsett. He's so athletic and he's so relentless on the boards that he'll come up with those tip-ins that very few guys his size can get to.
Yeah, he's had some big ones in the game. And now he's got a turnover. And here comes Mason. to a Duge finish.
And one.
Yeah.
That's where there's just so much athleticism. As you hear, Mason comes up with a steal, can pretty much pick his poison on this 3-on-2. Duge is able to convert on that three-point play and extend the Aggie lead.
Back here in Logan, you remember when we came out of the last commercial break, I was mentioning the Aggies had 12 field goals and Wyoming only had 3. Wyoming still hasn't had another field goal. Aggies now 14 field goals to Wyoming's 3. So the shooting woes have really, and the Aggie defense has contributed that, obviously.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the discussion at halftime is just said, our offense will come, but we need to start creating offense off of defense. And their points off of turnovers is 16-5.
Wow, yeah. And points in the paint, 42-20, doubling them up there. Bottom line is scoreboard, and the Aggies have outscored Wyoming 30-12 in this second half as Templin commits the foul. So Koyanitz to the free throw line, the sophomore.
One thing I like about Coach Sprinkle is with his younger players, he kind of encourages them. I look at that with Carson Templin draws a foul. He can see that he's playing aggressively, kind of just says, hey, take it easy. Yep. You'll get yourself into this game. We're going to get through this. So I think, that's just is another feather in his cap in terms of his coaching ability.
Well, his team has opened up a 21-point lead as Koyanitz trims that to 20. Sprinkle in 4 years at Montana State, 81-43, and took his team to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. I think when the Aggies went looking for a coach this past offseason, and they've had to do this a couple of times now in the last few years, I think Sprinkle was a natural fit. And boy, has it worked out.
Yeah.
Jackson 3. Came off that screen but couldn't connect.
Well, the Aggies have come out on the favorable end with hiring coaches.
Yeah, they have.
With Smith and Odom, they just have found
just a matter of keeping them.
Right, and that's, but Aggie basketball seems to have maintained its abilities throughout those coaches.
Yeah. Oh, how about that pass into the post and drawing the foul? Free throws coming for Javon Jackson. Well, and there aren't, Stu Morrill is here forever.
Yeah.
And just a legend. That's why they're going to be naming the court after him here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, February 10th. Well, he's a unicorn. When I talk to people about Coach Morrill, Logan, it may be a stepping stone for a lot of coaches, and there may be a point in time where that's just not the case anymore, but I think a lot of coaches come here and they have great success, and it seems like all of them do, and then they look for these different opportunities. But Utah State seemed to be able to maintain its winning seasons throughout those transitions.
Free throws good. And the Aggies up 68-47. Trying to win their 14th straight game. Big road trip coming up as they have UNLV and New Mexico as Walters connects. Duge wide open. Can he get the three? Got it.
Yeah, and this is just trying to stay in your offense, trying to continue to execute and build on the lead that you have. You never want to take your foot off the pedal in conference play. It's not like you're trying to run up the score on teams, but you just always have to respect the fact that they can put points on the board really quickly, and there's still a lot of time on the clock.
Shot clock violation. 3 went in, but 2 late.
Yeah, and that's just, again, commending the Aggies on their defense, pushing Wyoming to the end of the shot clock. The officials are going to review this to ensure that to make sure that the shot clock actually expired before he got it off.
Not sure if we have. Yeah, they're saying no. So the call stands. Our officials tonight, Michael Reed, Chance Moore, D.G. Nelson. We see a couple of these guys quite a bit up here in Logan. D.G. especially, he's from Utah. He's been around a little while. Did he ever officiate you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I always had a good relationship with DG.
Johnson drive, collision. And here come the Cowboys. Good defense by Wyoming on that one, and caught right to the basket.
And Martinez with an excellent block. We've seen that a few times from him. His ability to meet guys at the basket.
Templin grabs the ball as Johnson lost it and wisely calls a timeout.
Yeah, he's a guy that consistently is on the floor. He's coming up. He's willing to sacrifice his body. He's one of those teammates that you just love to play with. He's not fun in practice, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
But in games, you love his work ethic and what he's willing to do to help you win basketball games.
You know, when you really learn to appreciate this Aggie student section and this crowd, is you and I did that game. It was against Northwest Nazarene a couple of weeks ago. The Aggies won it handily, 84-53. Or no, sorry, it was East Tennessee State. They did beat Northwest, but East Tennessee State, they won that 86-5. You remember it was the Friday before Christmas, and there was no band, no cheerleaders, very few students.
Yeah.
Because it was so close to Christmas, they were all home for Christmas break. Then you come back after the holiday, and the place is just, you wouldn't even recognize it.
It is. It's one of the premier basketball venues. When the Aggies are having seasons like this, there's very few funner places to play and to watch college basketball than the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum.
Something else. Even on a snowy like this, not completely sold out, but a good crowd on hand. Saturday was a sellout against Colorado State. Maybe a sellout, but not everyone's here.
Yeah.
Aduje. And that's going to be an offensive foul, says D.G. Nelson. Take it away. I wonder, as we approach 5 to play and the Aggies up 71-49, if Great Ossabor's night is done.
I think.
And Brown.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they got back in the game, but
barring some sort of a big run here.
Sure.
Griffin, and he connects.
Yeah, boy, he's been having a quiet night.
Really quiet night. The Aggies done a nice job of keeping him quiet. 20-point lead for the Aggies, 4.5 to play.
See, with Ossabor out of the game, the Aggies become so much more of a perimeter team. And the execution kind of suffers, and you end up taking, although that might go in.
And it goes in. Yeah. Right on cue.
But as a coach,
I understand what you were saying. Yeah. You're right. It was not really a desperation three, but the shot clock was about to expire.
Right. And you have the talent here to sometimes make those things happen. But see, that's great defense by Johnson. I mean, it's a great finish by Walters, but he stayed down, he stayed disciplined, made him score over him. And that's just sometimes people, at this level, people can make great offensive plays.
Aduje again, right into the post. Three-pointer on the way and can't connect on another one. Jackson hit that last one. And we got a foul on Templin, who raises his hands, wondering, what did I do?
Yeah, I mean, he plays so aggressively that that's going to happen sometimes. You're going to come up with some fouls, but you never want to tell a player to stop doing that. Just keep playing as hard as you can and let things go as they will.
Well, Great Ossabor's night appears to be done indeed, and it is a good one. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 shy of a double-double. And Darius Brown does get his double-double, 13 points, 11 assists. Those two did a great job for this team tonight.
Yeah.
As Wenzel connects. 20-point lead for Utah State now, who will, if this holds, and the game's not over yet, 3.5, could get to 3-0 in league play and 15-1 overall. But remember, Wyoming's come back before.
Yep, they'll keep fighting until that clock expires.
It's a heck of a deficit right now. And there's another drive, and the ball creeps in for Javon Jackson.
Yeah, and I think the more minutes Jackson gets, the more confidence he gets, and he really is a talented basketball player, and you know, he's shown that in quite a few games this year.
Under 3. Griffin 3 of 8 tonight, Gary. Only 1 of 5 on his 3-pointers. We talked about him before the game. I mean, he's a young man that averages 18 points a game, leads his team in scoring. He's only got 7.
Yeah.
So credit the Aggie defense.
Yeah, and I think he just hasn't shown as much aggressiveness as I've seen him show in other games, where he wants the ball in his hands. He wants to be the guy taking the shots. And he's kind of just let his teammates facilitate the offense, and I think that might be one of the reasons why they're struggling so much offensively, is because guys aren't used to stepping up like that they're being asked to do tonight.
Isaac Johnson will go to the bench, and Landon Brenchley will check in for Isaac. And Isaac with a nice game, hitting the 10 points, still had 3 assists to go along with that, had a steal, 3 rebounds.
Yeah, and he's been getting some really good minutes. As the year progresses, his minutes have been increasing. He's become more disciplined, making better decisions.
20 minutes tonight. So we talked about the Mountain West kind of top heavy, Colorado State, Nevada, New Mexico, San Diego State, Utah State. But every team in this league prior to the opening of league play had a record above 500, every one of them.
Yeah, I mean, the Mountain West is a great league. They have a lot of talented teams.
Nice pass from Brenchley. And Templin scores.
Yeah, his brother Jackson Brenchley played at the University of Utah, transferred to Denver.
We saw him this year in a game against BYU. And good defense there, and here come the Aggies. Bench wanting to close this thing out strong. Ian Martinez, the only starter who's still in the game. Brenchley, the fans for the students would have gone nuts if he would have scored.
Yeah, and he definitely has the skill and the talent to play. He was a phenomenal high school player at Ridgeline High School up here in Logan, and he definitely can play at this level.
Just a sophomore, staying home.
Yeah, it's nice to have a school like this in your backyard.
Yeah,
you know,
for both he and Falsley.
Yes,
you know, up there in Skyview, and a foul on Nigel Burris.
The foul is on Nigel Burris.
We told DG maybe the message didn't get to all of them. It's snowing out there. Let's get out of here.
Yep, they're. I guess they're not mindful of that. Maybe they got some good four-wheel drives. They're not too concerned.
Yeah. But it's been a fun game, especially if you're an Aggie fan, and particularly this second half. I mean, it was a 2-point game at the half. Could have gone either way, and the Aggies have just completely taken control.
Yep. And I think that's kind of been the theme throughout this season. They kind of just sit hovering close with their opponent in the first half, and then the second half they kind of switch a gear and pull away.
Very impressive from the free throw line as well, Gary. 92%. They hit 13 of 14, and
yeah, that's impressive.
They're a good free throw shooting team, not a great free throw shooting team. So that's good to see. If there's anything to nitpick at is the three-pointer. I was about to say the three-point shooting was 5 of 21, but Martinez hits a big one. And they're really a better three-point shooting team than tonight's average is showing. Oh, in the post. Manyao has to kick it out. Good defense. And again, Manyao this time tries to turn and score. And off the two, well, Brenchley and Devlin were kind of fighting for it. And it went off of them. Under a minute to play, Aggies are going to win their 14th straight game.
That's an impressive streak. I don't care who you are. In Division I basketball, it's difficult to win 14 games in a row.
Well, only one other team in the country has done that this year currently, and that's Stanford. The two longest active win streaks.
But like you've noted, the Aggies are going to go on the road in a very difficult conference, and let's see if they can keep it up.
Exactly. UNLV and New Mexico. UNLV is struggling a little bit this year, but New Mexico, they're always a competitive team, 13-2 overall. I was surprised how Colorado State handled New Mexico in the second half of their game. It was at Moby Arena in Fort Collins, and then they came in here and the Aggies beat them, Colorado State. So it just shows you how tough this league really is.
And New Mexico is going to be a team that's going to give you troubles whether you're at home or whether you're on the road. They're just disciplined and talented and can really give you fits in a number of ways.
Burris putting the finishing touches. By the way, it's ice cream tonight for the Aggie fans as they've gone over 80.
They should make it hot chocolate on nights like this.
Nights like this, yeah, exactly. Danny Sprinkle telling them to back off here and just no need to take the shot. Shot clock and game clock are almost dead even. And how about that? Fans singing na 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 na, hey hey goodbye, and hello, 14 straight wins. Aggies get to 15-1.
Yeah, this has been a tremendous season, and watching this team grow and develop, gaining steam and confidence, and just the way that they play together as a team is really fun to watch. And I think the rankings that they've achieved are well deserved. And they just need to keep building throughout this year. And Coach Morrill used to always say, hey, we play for February, we play for March. And so that's what they have to be working towards and thinking, you play game by game, but you're building towards the end of the season through conference play.
They stormed the court on Saturday after beating Colorado State, but now it's just like, another win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With
that
expectations,
was big. Yeah.
they expect, the crowd now expects you to win games, and there comes a little pressure with that.
Great Alcibor leads with 20 points. He also had 8 rebounds. Darius Brown, 11 assists. Just a great game for that young man as the Aggies go and meet their fellow students and get another victory.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love, that you go and you give some appreciation to those that come out and support you, especially on nights like this, and really commune with the crowd, because they are a factor here in the Spectrum.
Well, it was a big one and a fun one. We appreciate you joining us for tonight's broadcast, both on the Mountain West Network and on KMYU TV locally. Our next broadcast will be against Fresno State, January 20th at 2 p.m. Until then, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Gary. Thanks to our entire crew, and have a good night and drive safe, everyone. Nice job.